Hey, Chirag, it's Viktor. We're on the podcast right now.
Yeah. I should be there in 2 minutes.
I actually like that there is happening a little bit of, drama here and there. I think, to be honest, I think it's good for the sport.
Forget about that this is my son. Now we're talking about a product.
Yeah.
Now it's business.
Yep.
Looking at the ELO, but US-based rating, 2,100 says you're an expert, and you are already within the top 2% of the world. Hey guys, for our final episode of the year, we've compiled some of the best moments from this year. It's been an awesome 9 months of podcasting with some amazing conversations and guests. So we hope you enjoyed this little recap. So here's something from episode 1, Sport is a Business, and BWF's challenges and new equipment.
You're actually quite a big brand within the badminton world itself, right? So Viktor Axelsen is associated with your sponsors and so on, Yonex being one of your major sponsors. And you said that your dad was your manager and agent.
Yes.
So what role does he actually play in the whole Viktor Axelsen ecosystem in also getting this with Yonex onto market?
Well, he plays a huge role. To be honest, I don't praise my dad often, but I think he has been one of the reasons why badminton players are able to make an even better living now. Obviously, there has been big movers within the sport, like Lee Chong-wei and Lin Dan comes to mind, right? But within Europe, we have been able to, get really good contracts, like way better than, obviously the results are really important, but my dad has really been able to sell Viktor, me as an actual brand, because as a sports person, you have to see yourself as a business. And my dad has been very, very good at making the brands understand the actual value of Viktor as a badminton player and the brand. Because as a player, you need to invest a lot into your own brand. You are a business as an athlete, and if you're just playing on court and you're not visible outside the court and you're not making moves in order for your brand value to be higher and higher, then it's very hard to get the good contracts. So we've invested a lot of money into my own brand from an early age, and that's also why I have the contracts I have now.
So can you tell us 3 things actually? So 3 things from the decades of work that you and your dad have done, right?
Yeah.
What are the 3 most important things that literally comes to your mind? This made an impact right now in 2025 for Viktor Axelsen.
I think, firstly, very early on, we came up with the logo I have. We made, souvenirs like the small mini shirts we made. Yep. People were always asking for my shirts, and obviously I couldn't hand out my shirts all the time. So we make like small VA mini shirts, which was a great idea, was my dad's idea. We produced all that by ourselves, the off-court VA shirts we produced very early on. Also, for me myself, I learned Mandarin in my start 20s as well, which was something which had a huge impact on my brand value.
Episode 2, tournaments are relentless, committed players, and getting fined.
If you're injured, you still have to be at the event to be certified at the tournament top?
If you're in the top committed players list.
Which is top 20, top 15?
I think it's around top 15, top 10 to 15 or something. Probably top 15, but we can, you can check that online.
We will check that.
Yeah, I just know that I've been a part of that for many years now. Then for the 750s, for the 1000s, you have to go. If you're injured, you can send, a medical documentation in saying that, you can't fly or you're injured, you can't come. But in my entire career, I've never had a medical documentation which were good enough in order to avoid the fine. Really, I've been so sick. I was so sick at Malaysia Open last year, throwing up. The medical doctor wrote a documentation where he said you should go back and get, a medical checkup. That's what he advised. Still fine. So I'm not really sure.
How many times have you been fined so far?
Many times. Many times, probably a solid handful during over the last year.
How much is the fine? 5K?
5K.
Dollars?
Yeah, $5K.
Per tournament?
Yes.
Or is it per day? No, per
tournament. Per tournament, yes.
Okay.
And again, what I have been arguing quite a bit with BWF about that is that they don't pay, one night at the hotel. They don't pay your flight ticket. So basically you have to pay out of your own pocket. And that's not great, I think, because some players are doing great financially, but for other players, I know that the federation maybe pays sometimes for some of them. But again, to pay out of your own pocket if you can't play, to go out and do the media and stuff like that, I don't think that's a really good way to do it. Secondly, it also, why shouldn't a player go on court, just play a few rallies, take the prize money in the first round, and then leave again? Because when you're there anyway, you might as well just go on court and play and grab the prize money.
In episode 3, we were discussing about taking charge of training, which also means taking charge of your life. As far as I understand, as a badminton fan, badminton nerd, Asia has more emphasis on volume.
Yes.
You guys have more emphasis on intensity.
Yes.
Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, so what is the significant difference in your opinion? Obviously, I guess you've done both.
Yeah, I've done both. I think the interesting thing is, first of all, that so different training styles can still produce so many good players, right? Yeah, that is very, very interesting to me. I think that obviously in my head, you should train as what the intensity, at least it's very important that you have the intensity in your training, which is how it would be in a tournament.
In a match
In a match.
situation.
Yes.
Okay.
Obviously also if you overdo both, like either if you overdo volume or you overdo intensity, that means your risk of injury is also significantly higher. So I try to train both systems, both the more like volume kind of thing. I can't do as much on court as I could in the past, but then I do it on the bike, etc., etc.
Okay.
Or
Less impact.
Yes, less impact, longer duration.
Yep.
And then on court you can do the high intensity stuff there. So I think a mixture of both is the way forward for me. But badminton is very hard on the joints and your movement mechanics and the way you the way you plan your training and make sure you have some kind of how can you say,
Managing that load level.
Exactly, managing the load is very important.
So so this is from conversations from throughout the past with me, with other players as well. So certain tournaments on the tour, on the circuit, in certain halls are stiffer, like the ground is a lot stiffer. It's like if it's like full concrete or if it's underlaid and stuff like that. So do you prepare specifically for those? Like, this tournament's gonna be hard on your joints. Like you go in with a mentality ready.
No, not really. But what you do prepare for is that some tournaments will usually have slower shuttles.
Yes.
That the rallies will be longer, for example, All England. So you need to physically be very strong and very, ready for the endurance, kind of match, like, match intensity. Even though some of the years there has been a little bit of drift and there has been a little bit of wind, but mainly and usually it will be pretty long rallies there. So in that regard, I will maybe, I'll change the training, and when I know who my opponent is, I will also do exercises where make sure that my sparring partners are making specific shots and stuff like that.
Okay.
So in that sense, yes.
In episode 4, we talked about life on the road at tournaments and introduction into badminton media. Can you give us an average number? How much does it cost per tournament? I guess you fly to 15, 18 tournaments a year? How much does it cost you per tournament on average?
I should know. But I would say in total, when it comes to coaches and all that kind of thing, I would guess that I might use, also for myself, the family. You have to keep in mind that I have a family and I prioritize.
Absolutely.
When they can travel, we travel
together.
And, I fly business class when I go for tournaments. And I did that from a very young age because I realized when I grew very tall, it was a big priority for me to fly business class because I was way more recovered when I arrived.
Yep.
My back wasn't hurting as much as when I was sitting economy and stuff. And I know that it's not possible for anyone, but that was a big priority for me. So I would say roughly, excluding salaries and all that kind of thing, I would say that on a yearly basis, I maybe use around $175,000.
125K.
Yes,
Just for you and your team.
for me and my team on hotels, flights, and stuff.
Wow.
And that sounds like a lot, but
it's an investment, right?
Yeah,
it's a business, and you cover that from the performance and the results that you get.
Yes.
So actually, thinking about it, 125K doesn't sound that much.
No, it's not. And nowadays the flight tickets are absolutely insane. So it's a good. That's also one of the things where when I chose to move to Dubai and stuff, I knew that this would be the expense would be bigger.
Yeah.
Also, I do have, I need to cover for, as I say, some of the Airbnbs when family comes, when sparring partners comes, all those kind of things. And so there might be a small add to the 175K, but around there, you should probably.
That's a good number. Okay.
175 to 200K with everything, the entire setup in flight tickets, hotels and stuff.
Have you actually ever counted how many days you are away on a tournament? So if you do 15, that's 15 weeks, but you have like plus minus 2-3 days each time, right?
Yes, I do. And then I also have some other events and stuff like that I attend to, or if sometimes I'm flying out to do some Yonex or do other personal sponsorship, events and stuff like that. So I would say in the most busy years, probably around 250 days or something.
250 days?
Yeah, between 200 and 250 days, I would say, in the most busy year.
Okay. Wow.
In episode 5, we discuss Viktor and my lives off the court, from our love of coffee to our families as our support system.
Tell me a little bit more about the ritual you have. So every single match day, game day, you will have something on your Instagram story to say, game day and with your Americano there.
Yeah.
Where did that come from? How did that start? And why did you keep doing it?
I'm not sure we touched on it on another episode, but when it really started was when we were doing COVID, the first, during the lockdown still, we were in Bangkok for the tournament there.
Yeah.
There was a free tournament. Yeah, exactly. And I was in the room, everything was wrapped in plastic and it was very extreme with all the regulations. And every day I walked 10,000 steps around I had a little bit of a bigger room. Uh-huh. So my ritual was like, I walked 10,000 steps a day leading up to.
How long did it take you?
I don't know, because we were locked down for the first 4 days. So I just walked and walked and walked every day. And then, I took one picture one day for my first round or whatever in the first match, and it went well. And then I was like, I need to do it again today. Yeah. And then it just became a ritual during that 3 weeks.
Yeah.
And it has been there ever since.
It's like 4 years in.
Yeah.
It's now a ritual.
It's now a big ritual.
Yeah.
I never skip it.
Do you actually ever check your Instagram stories analytics? Do they actually react higher? Like, do people react higher?
I don't really check, but the funny thing is that if I forget it or if I do it a little bit later up in the day, I will get fans write me like, "Where's the coffee pic?"
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's now a thing.
Yeah, it's now a thing. Yeah, exactly. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
We need to do T-shirts with the coffee day.
With the coffee.
It'll be pretty cool.
Episode 6, we talked about what we ate and actually about his rehab as well.
Yeah. So, I do have a very nice breakfast story for you, actually. So this was in Indonesia Open last year, a game in the same players' hotel. And me and Kim Won-ho, both of us went to breakfast at about the same time. And then reception at the breakfast looked at us, and then there was no tables completely. And there was one table for two. And he asked both of us, would you be happy to share? I was like, I don't mind if he doesn't mind. And so we sat across each other having breakfast. Nice. And That's then great. And then when he wanted to go, it was so sweet of him. Like, so he doesn't speak much English at that point. And then so he typed into his phone like a Google translator and said, "Is it okay if I leave first?" I was like, "Dude, why are you asking? Just go." It's just too nice. No. Yeah, go.
That's great. That's great. Yeah, the players are often, even though some players are very shy, and maybe it comes off to some people a bit arrogant, but 99% of the players are actually very, very friendly and super sweet. So, yeah, I'm not surprised you had that experience.
Episode 7, we talked about building businesses, spending money to make money, and also how I actually got started within the media side of badminton.
So we have some questions that we came across over the last 2 weeks before our recording. One of it is on Reddit, right? So one of it is on Reddit.
Okay. On Reddit, okay. So that's going to be interesting.
Yeah, that's going to be interesting. So the title very, very quickly summarized it. Who would win in a 2v1 match? Chirag and Naomi Matsuyama versus Viktor Axelsen. $1 million on the line. 1 day of prep. Well, 1 day of tactical preparation. And then straight in. who would win?
Like, the question is like, am I on a single court and they're on a doubles court, or is it just single court, both of us?
I mean, I don't have the actual thing in front of us, but I think yes. I guess it's only fair that you're on the singles and they're on the doubles court.
To be honest, I think I would win. Really, I think I would win. Taking into consideration that I'm in tip-top shape and stuff like that. I personally believe I would win without taking, obviously amazing players and everything. It's just like men against women, and and my thoughts behind saying this is that I think I would be able to, especially if they play in doubles court, then I'm more, sure in saying the thing I'm saying right now, that I would win. If it's on single courts, both of us, it would be closer, but I still believe that I would win simply because I do not think that their chance would be to drag out the rallies and I'm not able to hit winners. I would think that I would be able to find a way to win points, and they wouldn't be able to find a way to hit winners.
Okay. Well, based on the comments, you're losing.
Okay. Well, maybe I should make a bet with all these comments. Like the people who are writing the comments. Like, I'm not saying that I, could potentially lose. I just say that I believe I would win.
Okay, so I think we need to make matchups like these happen. Like in my opinion, I mean, I replied to the Reddit
I think
thread.
if there is $1 million on the line, I do not think that many of the players would be. That's a pretty, unless it's other people paying.
Well, so I said if we can have a $1 million prize money, I'm pretty sure we could make this matchup happen.
Then we could for sure make it happen.
Yeah.
And players would go very, very far to win.
Yeah. Okay. So that was quite interesting because I think whoever that said Viktor Axelsen will win would get downvoted. So I don't know if you're familiar with the Reddit system. You get upvote and downvotes, and then
I do not spend that much time on Reddit, but I'm familiar with the system.
Yeah, so it's like dislike style. But yeah, like I think anyone that says like Viktor Axelsen is gonna win is gonna get like downvoted to to poo.
Yeah. Well, I will like those comments whenever I go on Reddit next time.
In episode 8, we discussed about what is the most underrated skill of all, which is the mental side of things.
Give us some examples of when the times you've really panicked.
Well, the big one was during the European champs, during the COVID period in Ukraine, where I tested positive around 8-9 weeks before the Olympics or whatever it was. And I really panicked because I had to stay 15 days there. I couldn't train, I couldn't eat probably, and it could end up being more than 15 days. So I really broke down there and didn't know what to do.
So this was before Tokyo Olympics?
It was before Tokyo Olympics.
So this was before Tokyo, not Paris?
Yeah.
And then
we still had to do the test every day, and I tested positive while
2021,
while I was at the hotel room, and that meant that I had to be in lockdown there and couldn't go anywhere. And
it was you that suggested the test, right?
Yeah, I was one of the guys who said, like, let's just do an extra test, make sure nobody has it and stuff. And then I tested positive.
Yeah.
Obviously good that I didn't,
go out and spread it.
Yeah, spread it more. But for me, it was an expensive test.
It wasn't because what, and that was right before you played the finals. You had the finals against Anders.
Yes.
And then so you had to forfeit that match because you can't get on.
Yeah.
And then you said that you called BS.
Yeah, I called my family. I was broken down. Like I was such in panic mode, and I just saw my Olympic slips away because you can't just sit 15, 20 days without any proper practice and proper food, especially also.
And no one can see you actually in the room, right?
Yeah, no one can see. Yeah, so I called him, and he said that, okay, now we're going to try to look for a solution. He called around, and he had a contact who is in charge of the flex flight, it's called. I'm not associated with them, but who is, for example, if there's a skiing accident or if somebody got really sick and can't affect others, they have these
evacuation
flights, like hospital planes, where you can lay in this sort of, we can probably put some pictures, where you lay in this like small chamber.
Yeah.
And I said, let's go. Like, it was probably the best decision and best investment I've almost done throughout my entire career, at least in top 3.
Yeah.
So I said, go ahead. I could get picked up the day after. And
he showed up in front of your door.
He did. He was on the flight as well.
What a guy.
Yeah, so, and when they came, they looked like a crew who just landed on the moon or something in the big suits. When you look at it today, it was
in all the hazmat suits.
Yeah, it looked crazy. And they pumped this chamber up outside my room, and I laid myself in there, and I lay there for
8 hours.
8 hours or something. Like, it was such a... And the crazy thing was that this thing was like 198 centimeters, I'm 195, right?
Yeah.
So I had like no space whatsoever. And when we came to the airport, they had to do the security check. And because I had my, Normatec massage boots, they had to really check my luggage.
Okay,
and
because of the batteries?
Yeah, because of batteries. And they had to check my body and all that kind of thing. And I really had to pee. And they were just like these Ukrainian policemen just looking at me all the time, right? So I had to pee in this...
you were in a transparent box and you had to pee.
Yeah.
Lie down.
Yeah, lying down.
So it was messy.
It was not messy. It was okay, actually. Once, I got the thing, but it was just like the mental... It was a little bit...
Scarring.
Yeah.
It stays with you.
Hopefully it's the last time I will do that, but you gotta do what you gotta do, right?
In episode 9, we had our first ever guest, Viktor's dad, Henrik, talking about how to build an empire.
Then I said, listen, forget about that this is my son. Now we're talking about a product.
Yeah.
We're talking about a brand. We need to find a way to cooperate if you guys are interested. But listen, this is not because I want to brag about my son. I'm proud of it, but now it's business.
Yep.
And that's years ago, I just started, whatever meeting it was, I started that way. Because then you won't have that, as we call it here in Denmark, Jantelov. You won't have people say, hey, listen to, that's good, you're his dad and you get money out of it and blah, blah, blah. So we could focus on actually what was the main target for both of us.
The cut through, like dropping, I think setting the anchor, I think maybe the right term for it, like setting the anchor in the right position at the right time to have the correct conversations, because otherwise it's a lot of fluff, I guess, you have to get through.
And I think one of the things that, I'm the most proud of, more happy about, is that not only, now obviously financially the sport is in a way better place, and we are also doing way better financially, but I think it's also due, like I think my dad, has a big part in that, is that if the brands and the people within the sport are used to paying, X amount, in order to come up to an amount which is way bigger than that, you first have to break that bubble, and you have to move the needle so the brands are actually okay with paying more, because we believed very early on that badminton had a huge potential. You see the numbers, how many, and that was one of the things which was very frustrating for us, and what we have been using a lot of energy on is actually getting the numbers for the sport. How many people are watching, how is the broadcast, everything, and the federation, the BWF, is just not sharing that information with the players. So to actually go out and sell a product where you actually have to use so much energy, and it's very hard to figure out what is the actual value, and that we had to spend a lot of energy on trying with third parties, try to get some numbers, figure out how many people are actually watching and all that. And once we figured out the way to actually make the partners understand how much exposure you get from being on my shirt, my brand on social media and all that kind of thing, then you could really go out and say, hey, listen, this is actually fair. And the brands also had to be okay with paying more for the players, and now you also see the contracts growing.
Episode 11, we had our superstar guest, Chirag Shetty. Because of him being slightly late onto the call, Viktor gave him some chat.
Okay, so I think we've come to a point in the podcast where, do you want to call Chirag?
Yes. Let's call him.
Hang on.
Like, he can't say that he's coming and then
He's not coming. So for sure, we should call him.
He might still be at the doctor's.
then we talk with the doctor as well why he's late.
Are you calling him via WhatsApp or?
Yeah, I'm calling him now. Hey, Chirag, it's Viktor.
Hey, Victor.
We're on the podcast right now.
I told.
Yeah, undskyld.
Vicky,
Yeah.
actually, I went to meet my back doctor.
Okay.
Appointment was at 2:00. He met me at 3:45. I waited at this clinic for 1.5 hours.
So how far are you from being able to join at this moment?
So I just I'm driving back home. I'm right below my house now. I should be there in 2 minutes.
In 2
So in
minutes.
5 minutes, yeah, I can join.
Okay, in 5 minutes you can join. That's great. Because if you told me that you're driving right now and I know the Indian traffic, I would say 5 minutes. 5 minutes
No,
means.
I just reached home.
Oh, that's great. We'll see you on the call. We're on now, so we'll just wait for you.
Done. Okay.
Okay.
Cool.
See you, bro. See you. Bye.
See you. Bye.
Bye.
Episode 11 was our season 1 halftime recap, as well as An Se-young's contract negotiations, which were a hot topic at that point in time. And then we were doing the grip test.
Yeah, the grip test also, which we need to redo.
Which
where
we
I
need
have
to
grip
redo.
powder. Where I have grip powder available.
Oh yes. So I'm ready. Like we have some grip powder, and then we have some testing. Actually, a lot of people were guessing what your numbers was on social media. That was the goal, that they were supposed to guess how much.
Great.
Yeah. Would you be happy to announce what was your score?
Yeah, you can announce it, but I can't even remember what it was. I just remember it was very bad.
It wasn't as bad as you thought. But then again, you are the double Olympic champion. You're ultra competitive. You want to win.
Yeah, actually, the fun thing is that I was talking with a friend about this the other day, that, in regards to physical, like the testing.
Yes.
Throughout my career, I have never been good at no test. Like really, when it comes to like the physical, whatever. Yeah. But I've always been very good at winning matches. So basically... Yeah,
that's a skill.
Which is basically, it's my job, right? But
yeah,
it's funny because when I was a young kid or when I was going to a national team, if you only looked at the physical side of things, then I wouldn't be in the top. I would be good, but I wouldn't be in the top. But still, so it's funny how that is, right? Where we should probably measure what you're trying to do, which is winning badminton matches or playing at a very, very high level. Yeah. It's good to some degree to have some testing, make sure that, of course, your body is in a place where it can perform well.
Where it should be. Yep.
Yeah, but I always think a lot about that.
In episode 12, we had Cristian Luque Manjon, the strength and conditioning coach of Cheng Ziwei, as well as previously with Team China. Really, really interesting one, this one. But obviously, that conversation also had that you almost got fired or almost got sacked on the first day, right? I mean, that was the story around it.
Because, of course, I never worked with badminton players before. And I started to work, was like June... like 2 months before the World Championship in 2018 in Nanjing.
Yeah. Yep.
And then I knew that I'm going to start to work with the team for a few months before. And then because I was not familiar with the players and with the sport, not too much, then I started to do a lot of research, reading papers, watching their matches, and try to get as much information I could. And then the first day when I started to work with them, the team came from a 2 weeks competition. I don't remember the competitions, but they had 1 day off, and then the next day we started to train. And then I started to train with I think was the 4 mixed double, Wang Yilu, Huang Dongping, not Chen Yufei in this moment, Zheng Ziwei and Huang Yachun. And then because I didn't know them, then the first day I had a conversation with them to know what is the kind of work they do, because they are not familiar with the way I was training. And then we do very easy training, some recovery, because they came from 2 weeks of tournament. The goal was recovery for a few days, and then start to build, preparing the World Championship. And then after the first day I finished, I went home, and then my colleagues who recommend me to the coaches, he called me and said, okay, I had a conversation with the coach, and he told me that this is not the way how badminton players train.
That's
because
pretty soon to evaluate.
Yeah, because I had my players and the rest of the team was doing completely different. They didn't come from the competition. They were preparing a tournament in 1 week, and then the work was like completely different. And then But after a while, then I tried to explain him the reasons why we did this kind of work and everything. And after a few weeks, then he started to understand and was better.
Episode 13, we talked about balancing identity and injury in sports, and why he wasn't able to play at the 2025 World Championships in Paris. Have you seen the announcements of shot clocks coming in?
Yeah, I saw that. What do you think?
25 seconds. Oh, I love it. I actually cannot wait for it to come, be trialed properly and actually see it on court for the first time. Because I mean, so many other sports do it, and I think it's a good thing, because you then draw a fence around what you can and cannot do. You know, like the rules are rules. You know, like I think previously there was a lot of argument about can a doctor come on and apply cold spray or whatever. Now within that 25 seconds, you can spray for however long you want.
Yeah,
the players can do it themselves.
That's pretty cool. Yeah, the only thing I'm worried about is that how are the umpires gonna, you know, how are they gonna make the decision about when do you actually, you know, when do you need to actually take care of the court, and when is it not serious enough, and when do you stop the clock, and when do you just let it run, and how consistent is that decision?
Yeah,
I think it's the same with the service. You know, I was talking with the Danish media about it as well. Like, how consistent is it in terms of the different empires and how they're going to navigate that and stuff? So I hope they get, you know, it's a practice for them as well. It's a new thing for them as well.
100%.
So
the
empires really need to also, you know, get the support needed in order to fulfill the, you know, the regulations and all the kind of stuff, and make sure that it's pretty stable in terms of the shuttlecock being on and off.
Episode 14, we had Ahmed or Ahmed Shahrazad, a Malaysian journalist, talking about the state of Malaysian badminton and also why badminton media needs to do its bit to educate its fans.
I settled for DM Live Cross with Lizzie Jia because to me it's a complete story of his journey when he decided to turn independent and to have that moment with him at the end of the medal ceremony. So I think that was a story of its own. I mean, as a journalist, you're not supposed to be a part of the story, but I mean, I think it's fate. It's fate that the story turned out that way, and it's just the message that I wanted to send with support. I mean, with a change of culture on how we treat our athletes, you can achieve amazing things, because for Malaysian, we want that elusive gold medal. We've had a certain way of treating our athletes or showing a certain type of support, but with a different thing, I think we can achieve that. I mean, we're on the right track, and 100%. As you can see, during the Paris Olympics, through my style of journalism, I think the impact is different when you have a lot of support as opposed to being very critical.
I think. I mean, me standing here and talking about media. I think in the world media for a general fan, there's multiple layers to it. So for example, yours is in my opinion, the professional way, the proper way. You are accredited with journalistic organizations. You go through proper channels. You're with the host broadcaster, for example, with Astro. So Astro is a huge broadcaster. In Malaysia, they buy all the rights to the Olympic Games, in badminton terms, all the BWF sanctioned World Tour events. And so you are through the official channels in many ways. You are available and actually qualified and accredited to be there. On the other side, you have people like me who are not really trained in journalism, but still producing content, covering badminton in many different ways. And I think you are correct. Like, I think there's a space for badminton to grow, for content creators like us, you know, to cover that from a different perspective, and we see things slightly differently. But I do agree that you are right. Asian badminton fans are quite tribal. Like, really, I think a better word for maybe would be quite hardcore. Like, I think it comes from the passion from the game, but it's extremely hardcore, where, you know, winning, well, essentially losing is not an option in many ways. Episode 15, we had Ayush Shetty, India's up-and-coming and BWF World Tour winner already at only 20 years old.
Do you nap? Do you sleep naps?
Yeah.
I can totally imagine you sleeping naps. I can see you taking brutal naps. I have like if you have been living in Europe and you would have, we have from Denmark, we have big time jumps, and we always have these young guys when they come out and you arrive in the, sort of in the middle of the day, and the older athletes, they say, guys, don't take long naps before you have to sleep in the evening. I can totally see you, but just go up in bed and then just like sleep a nap from like 2 to 7 p.m. or something.
Oh, crushing it.
Absolutely crushing it.
Yeah,
and then just go to bed again.
Do you do that actually, Ayush? So how long is your nap?
Not for so long, but maybe 2 hours.
2 hours. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
2 hours is solid. 2 hours is solid. Do you then struggle to sleep after?
Yeah, that's why I stopped sleeping. For a longer period. So 2 hours is fine now.
Yeah.
Are you also?
I've never taken a 2-hour nap in my entire life.
Really?
I have.
Wow.
I can't. I'm not good at naps. Can you sleep?
What is
naps?
your nap routine then? I love it, but then obviously with now age, I try and do it on the weekends. But then I'm with Ayush. The naps 2 to 3 hours is actually quite good for me. Like I ideally I would like 2 to 3 hours naps if possible.
2 to 3 hours. When on the day do you sleep naps? From 12 to 3?
No. So you'll probably be like maybe 4 to 7. And then straight into dinner. I get up straight into dinner.
Bro, there's no chance you can sleep again if you sleep.
No, but then I do have a caveat though. So maybe because I spend so much time running around working or whatever, I don't often get my solid 9 hours every day. Like for example, here at the tournaments, I max out maybe 6.5 every day. So I have sleep debt. So when it comes to the nap, I can happily crush a 3-hour nap time. Episode 16, we had Dr. David Evans, who at the point in time of recording, he was the youngest BWF Badminton World Tour qualified and certified umpire. You get flack from players, you get flack from fans, you get flack from every single corner on the planet. How do you handle or how do you react to that? I don't think you've been on a couple of memes yet, David.
Not
but
yet.
I'm sure
Not
quite
yet.
a few umpires that you work with have been turned into memes.
Yeah.
Do you know how they react to it? How would you react to it? And then obviously, Viktor, you can also feed in this process as well because you've got a very, very huge following online. What happens, like David, from your perspective?
It is tough. Luckily, as you say, I haven't been involved in anything majorly controversial, or it hasn't been recorded at least. But these things happen. It's hard to deal with them at the time. Especially then as an umpire at a tournament, when you've gone through something which is controversial or a tough decision. Most of the time, there aren't that many umpires. So in 2 matches time, you've got to go back on court and go and umpire another match. So you've got to...
Let's go back a little bit. How many umpires are there typically in a day's match?
So last week at the World Championships, there were 16 umpires for 4 courts, all the way through the whole week. But then that's effectively 4 umpires for a court. So you're on 1 match, you're off 1 match, you're on the next one.
And that's court per day.
That's the whole day. So I think the first 4 days were almost like between 11 to 13 hour days, and there was 4 of them in a row. So they're extremely long days. So this is a thing of when you're making these split second decisions and you're getting, now the matches could be on there for an hour and a half.
Yeah.
And then if you're unlucky, the match after you is like 20 minutes, 30 minutes, and you've got to go back on and do another hour and a half match. It's going to be draining you. And like, I think everybody was doing about 8 matches in a day. And that for 4 days straight is a really long day. So it's going to affect you, as it's going through. But when there are these tough decisions that you've had to make, you've got to just try and put it out of your mind, move on to the next one, because the next match is now just as important for the players.
Episode 17, we had Ben Beckman going from an elite badminton player to an online creator to now a badminton commentator, especially with his latest experience commentating at the BXL. It really, in my opinion, as a fan, looking at it from a fan's perspective, it really allows us to see badminton from a different side, a more lighthearted side. I think from the BWF's perspective, absolutely, you want ranking points, you need to be structured, you want Olympic qualification, you have to be structured. This I completely agree, and this is in addition. Whilst the commercial tournaments and leagues are in addition, I think this is something great for fans to be able to tap into as well.
Yeah, because the last thing I say when it comes to exhibitions, usually players the level, like there's no seriousness to it. So it almost becomes, it's good to see the players, you know, pulling off some great stuff, but it's almost like a glorified knock-up at times. It can get a little bit...
Glorified knock-up is a very, very good term to use, really.
Sometimes get a bit boring, you know, after a while. Whereas this had, like you say, players were fun and stuff, but there was quite a lot of seriousness to it, so they played more seriously, so you kind of got the best of both worlds. This year was far more serious than last year, especially through freeze. The players were on that stuff. They were, I was talking to the players, they were talking about tactics and what they can do differently, lineups. They were really taking that seriously. Whereas last year it was almost like 3 players in one spot. Might be a bit of rotation, some diving and stuff, but in general they kind of just played. They didn't really think too hard. Whereas this year it was, you could tell they were thinking about how to rotate around each other. Should we have 2 at the front, 1 in the back? Who's going to be at the front? It was really, really cool and interesting to see.
Episode 18, we had Viktor on, fresh from his streak from French Open as well as the Danish Open. He was actually able to then describe what he felt and what he experienced, especially with his semifinals massive clash with Shetty. This was a really, really good episode. I found that Viktor was incredibly open and incredibly transparent about what he was going through at this point in time. And yeah, this one was a great listening.
First of all, I want to touch on the serving situation because I'm always getting comments and people are so mad about my serve. And first of all, I also made a tweet about this. I've been serving like this for a long time. It's no secret that the serving situations has never been my strongest part of the game. So I've been trying everything I could with my coaches and stuff like that in order to figure out a way. How do I get out of the service situation? How do I manage to get a serve which is fitting my, style? And how do we solve this issue where I sometimes get under pressure from the serve? Mm-hmm. And, so I started serving, like this with a little bit of a swing motion, from side to side, which I've been doing for a long time since before the Olympics. Yep. Then at the Olympics, I did it. People started getting, I think people who maybe not like me so much, they had a hard time seeing me win again. Maybe they didn't really hope that I would grab my second gold. So, since then, every time I do well in the tournament or every single time something happens, it's always my serve, which is an issue. BWF made a rule about this, and I don't know what the rule specifically is, but in my point of view is that I like to serve this way. I've been doing it for a long time, and I have got one fault before, ever. Yeah. So why on earth shouldn't I keep serving the way if it's not, it's like telling a tennis player if he's having success with the underarm serve that he shouldn't do it. Like, that people don't like my serve, I respect it. But I'm not... I make my living and my job is to win badminton matches. And I'm going to try to do, I don't think it's so disrespectful to be serving the way I'm serving if it's not against the rules. Yeah.
It's not against the rules, actually. It's not against the rules because...
So I don't see what the problem is. I really don't see what the problem is.
I saw your tweet, actually. I saw your tweet, and then, I think the long and short of it is not illegal. So, and I have actually spoken to umpires about it as well, like just technical officials, just to verify how are they interpreting the rules. And so actually the side-by-side movement is not illegal because there is no backwards swing yet. Once there is a backwards swing and you stop, that is against the rule. That is illegal. That is not okay. But the side-by-side movement before the backwards swing is perfectly fine. Absolutely no issues.
So again, I will get a lot of, I will keep getting, a lot of attention on that serve, and that's fine. It's part of the game. I actually like that there is happening a little bit of, drama here and there. I think to be honest, I think it's good for the sport. That people don't like me because of my serve. I don't want to be good friends with those people anyway, so it doesn't matter to me. It's a part of the game.
Episode 19, we had Alex Lanier on, the up-and-coming French men's singles badminton player, what his expectations are, especially now that he's a top 10 player, his love for chess and golf, and also a surprising revelation with bananas. Chess.
Ooh,
you do chess a lot too, don't you?
Yeah, actually, I said that if I'm not playing badminton, I'm playing golf, but it's not 100% true. I also play a lot chess. I play every day. I play every day, 100%. Yeah, it's becoming
and
addictive.
you have a very high rating, no?
Yeah, 2,100 at the moment.
Oh wow. Okay, so looking at the ELO, but US based rating, 2,100 says you're an expert, and you are already within the top 2% of the world.
Yeah, I think I might be not sure, but international master is 2,400, and it's two 5 to be a grandmaster.
A GM, okay.
Yeah, GM,
wow.
Yeah, but I mean,
so you're already very close.
Yeah,
closer than a lot of us.
Yeah, I mean, I'm in a way I'm close, but when you get higher rank, higher hero, it becomes so hard, even more hard. I mean, there's a lot of difference between someone with 2,000 and someone with 2,300. Like it's crazy huge the difference. So it's quite hard to quantify like this.
So how long have you been playing chess?
Now I think 2 years and a half. Close to 2 years and a half.
2.5. Oh.
Yeah, I think so.
Oh wow. Okay. Yeah. And why did you start? Or how did you start? Or was it just like you've always been interested in golf and then just one day decide to go chess?
Yeah, I think it's more, as I remember, I knew the game when I was a child. My grandpa, he teach me that, but it didn't came from this. It came that one day, actually 2 years and a half ago, someone told me, let's make a match. Let's play a game at chess, you know. And I didn't know how to play correctly, and I was just bad. And he destroyed me. And I said to him, okay, he destroyed me like crazy. And I said to him, okay, next time we're gonna play another game and see how I improved, you know. And I wanted to be better. And like 2 or 3 months later, I just destroyed him. And then from that time, I just started to like and be more addicted to that game, to watch more videos, to just watch the best player play chess, and to feel the vibe. Like you really feel that you like something. Then that's what I felt actually.
Episode 20, we then have Alex's coach, Kestutis Navickas, about the rise of French badminton and his commitment towards improving every single day, every single session. And then so Kestutis, looking back at that experience, I guess, like, so you and Viktor played each other 15 years ago. Now you both sitting here in very different capacities. From both your point of views, what has changed in elite performance badminton 15 years ago till now? What is the biggest change in both your opinions?
Really interesting to follow that, to be honest. And I'm also talking and thinking about that a lot lately, and at the same time trying to like anticipate where badminton is going. From my perspective, you know, I was from Lithuania, so I obviously had to really fight to go to the higher level. But what I see, there was less tournaments. People were playing less. That was much less competitive. Just main countries playing. So the biggest countries, yes, I believe, like Viktor, maybe you have a better memory in it. But from my perspective, was that in the first rounds you don't really meet someone who is so competitive. So the best players in the world, they used to go like all the time to the later stages of the tournaments. At the same time, there were, I believe, many more tournaments where people were winning back-to-back tournaments. Like obviously it was Lindan and Li Chengwei and Chen Long. I see this less and less, that you are capable to win back-to-back tournaments because the competitiveness is so high now. And the speed and the competitiveness and the schedule, like all of these things just became more and more intense. And that has an impact on the bodies, on the mind of the players. And then, yes, and that's why I believe the scheduling, the tournament planning became more more important now because you can play too many tournaments and overplay, and your body and mind will be not ready for the biggest events. So these are my thoughts a little bit. What do you think, Viktor, from your perspective?
Yeah, I agree a lot. I think that the players, like the quality, like and the broadness of sort of the level, like it's so, there's so many players who are very close in terms of level and can beat each other depending on how the players are playing on the day. The level and the rallies, the pace of the rallies, especially the defense of the players have become way, way better, which means that, the fast, quick points, you're simply not getting as many as you got back in the day. So players need to work extremely hard physically in order to win the matches. And yeah, then I just think that also with that, the physical, as you say, the recovery in between tournaments, if you go far, like I remember even when I was younger, if I went very, very far in a tournament, it was very, very hard for me to recover. Obviously, I had some years where I was fortunate to win in, like, not easy, but I won a little bit more comfortably, and then I was able to recover for the week after. But now you end up spending so much energy on the tournaments that it's very, very hard to recover and win back to back. I think you see the only one right now, Ante Young, you can see she's still able to, she can recover and she can win, but she's still young and her level is so much higher than the others, to be honest.
In episode 21, Viktor and I went through really deeply about his toughest battles. Like, he's had a tough year this year, especially with injuries as well. And this one was a really, really deep episode. I mean, clearly you know who Steph Curry is, LeBron James. Yeah. And then, I'm not sure if you know Steve Nash. Do you know Steve Nash?
I know Steve Nash a little bit, yes. I'm not a big basketball fan, but I look a lot up to them in terms of movement, mechanics, and the way they move on court.
So Steve has a podcast, and then with I believe with LeBron, and then so this week they have Steph Curry on their podcast, and so I saw a clip where Steve was talking to Steph about the one time they played together, and then in the first quarter, Steph and his team dropped like 45-50 points on them. Just one quarter. So that's bad. In basketball terms, it's rough. So Steve was coming towards the end of his career. Steph was prime years, and then so literally Steve was also an MVP as well. I think apparently on that table of 3, there's eight NBA MVPs around amongst them. So Steve is not a bad player, no slouch by any means. But then Steph was dominating. After that match, he said that he took 3-4 days just to think about it. He goes, "Nah, I'm done. I don't want to get beaten like that." And then Steph said, as soon as I turned blink of an eye, Steve has then joined his team as a coach to then teach them. He goes, and then Steve went, "If I can't beat them, join them." So,
exactly. But so Steph Curry, he was at NAS, where I train. He was training next to me, like last year it must have been.
Yes.
And you have sort of like an idea about how good these guys are. Like, obviously Steph is a generational athlete, and seeing him train and his consistency, in his training, it was absolutely mind blowing.
So were you just watching? Like, how long was he there for? Was he there for a week?
It was just one day. He was there, I think, for a short week, but I was just there. I was training, at the same time as him one of the days. Very inspiring to see. Obviously, he also thought that my training was very fun to watch. To them, it also seems crazy, right? When we jump around on the courts, and when they know he tried to play a little bit with his coaches also, and they know how hard it is. Yeah. So it's.
Do you now have his WhatsApp number to say, look, if you want a badminton game, come?
Unfortunately not. But very, very good guy, super friendly. I was over there shooting a little bit with him, and he gave me a few pointers and stuff, and just a top-notch guy. Like, it was a very fun experience to meet him and his team. So yeah. Hi everyone, it's Viktor here. We just wanted to say a massive thank you to all of you who have either watched
listen both to the Average Not Average podcast. We have had a blast this year. We've done our best to get as many episodes out as possible, and we really do appreciate every one of you. I hope you will continue to follow along for 2026, and we cannot wait to see you in the new year. Thank you so much. See you guys, and all the best.
Hey guys, I just want to quickly say thank you to everybody who tuned in to the Average No Average podcast. Your support really means a lot to us. It doesn't matter if you've listened or watched one episode or you followed every single one. It means a lot to me, it means a lot to us, and it means a lot to our team. We started our first full episode in March. We recorded our episode 0 in January. So essentially we've had almost a full year of publishing. We've learned a lot along the way, and the podcast was a safe space for us to actually be able to have honest, unfiltered, transparent, long conversations. And so I'm really thankful for Viktor for his time, and also for all the guests that joined us, and as well as you viewers and listeners. Have a really good holiday if you're celebrating Christmas and New Year's, and 100% we will see you back in 2026. We have more guests lined up already. Yeah, we'll see you then. Thank you again for your support. Really appreciate it.